What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's daily market recap. I'm back in my office, and today, well, I'm back just in time for the market to cool off a little bit. So what's this all about? Well, I think it's because of the Fed rate announcement yesterday. So we had huge volatility in large caps, and that sucked the volatility out of the small cap market. So now we've got to be a little patient. The good news is we had an incredible 8-day streak there. Let's see, it was all of last week plus Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this week. Today, I'm in the green. I'm at 2 times my cold market daily goal, or half the hot market daily goal. So where do these numbers come from? Well, I just find myself in hot markets pretty consistently hitting at least $20,000 a day. So I set that as my goal. And in a cold market, I set the goal at $5,000 a day, which for me is $1 million a year. That feels good even in a cold market. So if we jump onto the screen today, the charts that I've got up right now, this is just the S&P 500. You can see the Fed rate announcement yesterday created this huge spike of volatility in the S&P. But if we look at my metrics here for the last 8 days or so, you can see a really nice rally. I mean, I'm grateful. And this is the interesting thing about trading. You know, look at this long stretch that I had through, July, end of July and August, where it was just kind of, a couple bigger red days, smaller green days. And then all of a sudden, what happened last Monday? We got a big squeeze. It was a crypto catalyst. All of a sudden, the stock went crazy. Another one on Tuesday, Wednesday, then Thursday, then Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And so now I'm sitting here up $10,854.63 on the day. And I think that's a pretty solid day. So let's start breaking down the stocks I traded. Okay, so here's something that I learned today. First trade of the day was on BCDA, and this is kind of interesting. I did not intend to take this trade. This was an accident. So what happened? BCDA pops up, hits the scanners. I see that it's a 4.8 million share float, U.S. company, biotech stock. So I pulled up my level 2, and I put an order for 10,000 shares. So how does that work? All right, so let's see. So I'll just show you. I'll give you kind of the example here. So let's see. So there's the stock. I'm going to switch this to, I'll just switch it to BCDA is fine. So BCDA. Okay. So, oh my gosh, this thing's down right now, 32%. Unbelievable. So I put my order here for 10,000 shares, and I sort of clicked the buy button, but then I took my mouse off of it. Now let me show you something. I'm going to do this just for one share. So I'm going to do it for one share. That's my order entry window. I'm going to put it at 93 cents. I'm going to click the buy button. Then I'm going to take my mouse off of it. Now, what sometimes I'll do is I'll click this buy button because I'm thinking I'm going to buy, and I take my mouse off of it. And what I learned is that if you press Shift Enter, it's going to send the order. It's funny because I've had a few times this year where I've accidentally placed orders, but I didn't know exactly how it happened. And so today, all of a sudden, I sent out 2 orders for 10,000 shares, and I had 20,000 shares. Now, I went with it because I was sort of thinking about buying it. I wasn't planning on punching it at that moment. What I was trying to do is I pressed the shift button because I was trying to press the up arrow to move my order up by 10 cents. But I accidentally pressed the enter key. So, this is just how easily you could press the wrong button and suddenly you're sending an order 10,000 shares to the market. Now, I've been doing this for a long time. It's kind of remarkable that this is the first time this happened. Well, it's not the first time. It's happened a few times this year, but this is just sort of when I noticed it. Now, maybe part of it's because of this keyboard. This is the keyboard that I use. It's connected to a desktop computer, so I'm using a trackpad. And so I was pressing the shift button, I was pressing the up button, and then I accidentally pressed the shift or the enter button, right? And so boom, I sent an order and I was trying to figure out, because I said, how did this happen? It's happened other times, and I thought maybe there was some hotkey scripted nearby, but I couldn't find it. So I just wasn't really sure how it happened. So I just sort of left it alone. And then when it happened today for 10,000 shares, I was like, I've got to get to the bottom of this. So I bought 10,000 shares, and I got in. I was watching this dip right here, right in this area, and I ended up buying at 345. Now, it's not a terrible entry to buy the dip for the first candle to make a new high. Even though I wasn't really planning on it at that moment, I was like, I'm going to go with it. Well, it ended up dropping, stopped out at about $3 and lost 8,000 bucks on it. So kind of fumbled the first trade there, but I did learn a lesson, and I put in a request to Lightspeed. I said, can you make a setting to take that away? Because that, you know, and they said, yeah, we'll work on that. So anyway, so that'll be a nice improvement because it has happened a few other times, and maybe it's happened to you as well. Anyway, so that was my first trade on BCDA. So fumbled that, went red, and but not really feeling, honestly, any stress. It's not that significant of a loss, grand scheme of things, and especially compared to some of the gains that I've had in recent days. And it was 7 a.m. So I thought if there was ever a time to recover a loss, it's going to be, you know, early. So I'm sitting tight. And on my side charts, I have a couple other stocks I'm watching. I had APVO up. This had a 13G filing that came out last night. And the 13G filing was showing 0.72 Asset Management had bought 300,000 shares. It's a pretty big position. So if you scroll down, this is the hedge fund of Stephen Cohen. So he takes a 9% stake in the company, and it went up quite a bit, as you can see. But interestingly, it didn't push higher pre-market. So this was kind of the extent of the move, and now it's kind of, you know, I don't know, that's it. So I don't know what to say about that. Didn't have enough, I guess it wasn't, I don't know. I'm not really sure why it didn't go higher, but you know, usually when a big hedge fund, especially a well-known one, takes a stake, people get behind that, but it didn't really happen here. Okay, so that was APVO. I also had TURB on watch, and that's because it had made a big move 2 days ago, and I was looking at the daily chart thinking, well, maybe first daily candle to make a new high could give us something to work with. So I had that over on a side chart, and I had the level 2 up on it. So at 7:30, I was looking at my level 2s, I was looking at the news feed, and I saw TURB starting to pop up. I saw all of a sudden it starts to squeeze, and it's right at 7:30. So you can see right here, no volume, and then boom, 7:30, it starts popping up. So as it started to pop up right there, I already had the level 2 up. I jumped in. So I got my first position on this at 1337, which was, you know, I had been looking at it at 13, so it was like 37 cents higher than I had initially wanted it. And then I added at 1375. It breaks 14, it goes to 1450. I add at 1450, it goes to 15, and then it has a seller right up here at $15. It dips down, we break over that seller, I take some profit, it dips down again. It comes back up and it dips down again, and then I stopped out of the rest of it. So I locked up 20,000 bucks. So I flipped from red on the day to green between these two trades. I was up 12,000. And then LASC was the next stock I traded. LASC pops up. You know, it's a 9 million share float. It's, you know, laser company, developed some major breakthrough in laser shield anti-drone system. I don't know. But, you know, in this current environment that we're in, it kind of makes sense that that could work. You know, that's a catalyst that I could see working. So anyways, I bought for the break of $4. This ends up hitting a high. It was right here. It hits a high of 394. Can't break 4. Drops down. I stop out for a loss. It comes back up. I got back in, second attempt, break of 4. It goes to 406, and then it flushes to 357. I lost like 1,300 bucks. So down 1,500 on 2 trades, red on both of them. So now I've got 3 losers on the day and 1 winner, 25% accuracy. But at least the winners are bigger than the losers on average. Well, until APVO. So now I've got 3 losers, 2 winners. So accuracy is poor today. But the average winner between the two, well, you know, 21,000 divided by 2. So $10,500 each. Obviously, that's bigger than these average losers. So the average winners were big enough today that in spite of lower accuracy, I was able to pull out some profit. So APVO, I took 1 trade on it. Right here as it was coming up, I was looking for the break through the high. Didn't end up happening. I still think it was worth a shot, but that was it. So that is where I finish the day. I'm feeling very grateful. I'm in the green, sitting up over $500,000 on the month, as you could see. Even just the last 60 days, I'm at $2.1 million. So the market was cool during August, but definitely picked up over the last 8 days. So today, it's a little cooler. Friday, tomorrow, it might be a little cooler yet again, but I think we're on the other side of that really cold stretch from August, so I feel good about that. And I've got an exciting announcement that's going to come over the weekend. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that and are subscribed to the channel because I've got some big news. Something is coming back, and it's going to begin on Monday morning at 7 a.m. So something to pay attention to. All right, so a reminder, as always, trading is risky. My results aren't typical. Please take it slow, manage your risk, and always practice in a simulator before you put real money on the line. I'll see you guys bright and early Friday, tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., streaming for members at Warrior Trading. All right, I'll see you then.